Welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking a truly fascinating scientific mystery. It's one of those things that fundamentally challenges how we think about aging, memory, and disease. We are looking at a groundbreaking study that asks a seriously compelling question. Why do some brains manage to successfully resist the early effects of Alzheimer's disease while others just don't? It's a huge question, so let's dive right into it.
To really wrap our heads around why this breakthrough is such a big deal, we first need to establish the grim reality of the landscape we're dealing with. Look, dementia is currently the leading cause of death in Australia, and out of all those dementia cases, Alzheimer's disease is by far the most common form, accounting for a staggering 70% of them. That's huge. It's a massive, critical public health challenge that's affecting literally millions of families.
Now, we all pretty much know how this usually plays out, right? Alzheimer's is a progressive brain disease. Physically, the brain undergoes these changes that cause a gradual, but honestly devastating decline in cognitive abilities. Day by day, year by year, it strips away memory, it impairs basic thinking skills, and it just slowly diminishes a person's cognitive function. That's the standard, tragic progression we're all familiar with.
Okay, so that brings us to Section 1, the anomaly, pathology without symptoms. Because researchers started noticing something that completely defied expectations.
Here is where things get wild. Picture this. On one hand, you have an older adult whose brain physically shows the early telltale pathology and signs of Alzheimer's disease. The physical damage is literally right there. But, incredibly, they have absolutely no noticeable cognitive problems. Wait, what? How is it even possible to physically have the early stages of the disease in your brain anatomy, but perfectly maintain your memory, your sharpness, and your high level of cognitive function?
So, the magic phrase here is cognitive and brain reserve. This is the official scientific term for this incredible phenomenon. It's basically the brain's ability to build a shield, to remain cognitively healthy and maintain high functioning, even when those early Alzheimer's-related physical changes are actively happening in the background. It's kind of like having a massive backup generator for your mind. And researchers realized if we could just figure out how this reserve is built, it could change everything.
Which leads us to Section 2, inside the investigation. Measuring resilience.
To crack the code on how we can all build this backup generator, researchers designed an incredibly detailed study. And this wasn't some small, isolated undertaking either. We're talking about a major collaborative study between researchers at Murdoch University and Advent Health, with the actual data collection led by the Advent Health team over in Orlando, Florida. The results were so significant that they were recently published in the highly respected medical journal Neurology.
What's really fascinating here is the starting point for the people they studied. They looked at data from more than 600 adults in the United States, all aged between 65 and 80. But their current status was remarkable. Every single one of them was living independently with zero signs of dementia or memory impairment, totally asymptomatic. The researchers purposefully wanted to catch the disease in its silent, invisible phase to see exactly who was resisting it best.
And to really understand what was happening, they couldn't just, hand out a quick memory quiz. They went deep. They ran a deeply comprehensive suite of assessments. They used blood tests and MRI scans to look right under the hood at the physical brain health and spot those early Alzheimer's changes. But they paired that medical data with rigorous cognitive tests, measuring memory, attention, processing speed. And, get this, they analyzed life and social factors too. They looked at the subject's years of education, their income, and even their financial savings. They wanted the whole picture of these individuals' lives.
Lead author Dr. Kelsey Sewell from Murdoch University's School of Allied Health summed it up perfectly. She said, "Our study looked at why some brains were more resilient than others, and whether factors such as people's education, socioeconomic status, and health of their brain made a difference. The goal was super clear. Identify the protective factors so we can develop earlier, highly targeted strategies to save people's memory."
All right, let's get into the good stuff. Section 3, the findings. Protecting your mind. What did all those MRI scans, blood work, and financial data actually reveal?
The absolute biggest, game-changing takeaway from all this data is this. Maintaining good overall brain health actively helps reduce the impact of Alzheimer's-related changes on your cognitive function. Just think about that for a second. Even if the physical markers of the disease start showing up, having a baseline of robust brain health acts as a powerful buffer. It literally intercepts the damage before it can impact your day-to-day memory and thinking.
Remember a minute ago when I mentioned they were tracking things like financial savings and income? Well, this is where that comes in. They found fascinating early evidence connecting your environment to your cognitive resilience.
People with the highest socioeconomic status might actually be less affected by Alzheimer's-related physical changes when it comes to memory retention. Now, Dr. Sewell is quick to note that more research is definitely needed to fully confirm this relationship, but it strongly suggests that an environment of financial security and educational opportunity plays a direct role in fortifying our brain's physical defenses.
So what does this actually mean for you and me? Are we just stuck with whatever brain reserve we have right now based on our past? Absolutely not. I love this quote from Dr. Sewell. It is never too late or too early to start. Whether you're 25 or 75, the researchers emphasize that every single one of us needs to do everything we can to maintain a healthy brain, and we need to start right now.
The researchers actually gave us a blueprint. Building up this cognitive reserve really comes down to 4 actionable pillars. 1. Exercise regularly. 2. Maintain a healthy diet. 3. Sleep well. And 4. Find new cognitive challenges. It's that 4th point that I find so empowering. Learning a new language, doing complex puzzles, actively pushing your brain out of its comfort zone, these aren't just fun hobbies. You are quite literally building structural resilience in your brain that can fight off the cognitive symptoms of a devastating disease.
But hey, we can't put all the pressure purely on the individual, right? Because of those clear links to socioeconomic status we talked about, the researchers stressed that a wider societal effort is absolutely required. True population-level brain health needs coordinated action across research, policy, and industry. We have to design environments and societies that make these healthier choices accessible and attainable for everyone, regardless of their background. Systemic health promotes individual resilience.
Which brings us to our final thought. We've seen the data. We know the shield is real. We know that a healthy lifestyle and an active, challenged mind can physically protect your memories from early Alzheimer's pathology. So, knowing for a fact that it is never too early or too late to start, how will you challenge your brain today? What new thing are you going to learn? Take that step, build your reserve, and protect your mind. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.